Have you ever punched a frame using one of CM's frame punches? Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you the ins and outs of using one of our frame punches to create a frame for your page or a frame for a photo, but probably more along the lines of creating a frame for your page. And I wanted to remind you that now is the time to sign up for my August Escape the Sun Scrap Sketch Challenge. We're going to do 15 challenges in the month of August, one every other day. And that will help you get caught up before the onset of all of your fall photos. So get your pictures printed now, copy and paste the link that's in the description of this video, and go and get signed up. Let's check out my workspace and we'll get started. All right, here's my workspace for today. And in today's 101.5 lesson, we are going to learn to make a frame. And I just wanted to share with you a couple of ideas and tidbits about these punches. So this is the punch that we did in the last, or that we used in one of the punches we used in the last 101.5 lesson. And we created a border and we souped it up just a little bit. And this is a typical border frame punch. This is also a border frame punch, but this is a decorative border punch. This is a border frame punch. You can do a border and you can do a frame with either one. So it's not that you can't do one or the other with the other, but I just wanted to show you that a frame punch has these lines on either side. So instead of having just the design on either side on the wing, a frame punch will have a line on the wing right here, and that is to give you a starting point for your paper when you are making an outer edge on your frame. All right, so I'm going to show you in just a second how to go about doing that, and then we're also going to do an inner edge on the frame and see how that works. But I just wanted you to know that you can also do them with one of these style frame or style punches, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, how you might go about doing that. That one takes a little bit of trial and error. Okay, this one is a little more foolproof. So I have 4 frame punches sitting right here in front of me. I have the, and I have to cheat and look because I don't know their official names, but this is the Damask Flourish design. It's kind of a little more formal design. This is the spider web. This one is the spring leaves. And this one is the dollop arch. All right, so they all make really great frames for your page. And you can see how, at least for these 3, they have a central design, one design, whereas this one has kind of 2. But we'll talk about that in just a minute. When you're using these around an arch, a single design is a little bit easier to navigate when you're doing a circle, say, and we'll do circles in another lesson. But just so that you know, they are a little bit harder to. It is a little harder to navigate when you have 2 like this, because it comes out a little bit more square looking when you're doing the circle. So I have a bunch of scratch paper here. These are just cover sheets that I'm kept for this purpose. And whatever paper you are going to use, you're going to take and make a triangle with it. So opposite corners together. Keep your sides as straight as possible. And you can crease it or not crease it, but I find it's easier to just crease it. All right, and let's do one using the Damask Flourish. It's so fancy. I feel like it's so fancy. All right, so when you start a Well, first of all, let's just punch this is not wrong, but we're going to do just the outside. So I'm going to start with another paper so that you can see this, okay? So when you are going to just do the outer edge, you start by putting your paper all the way to the back bumper and lining up the edge with the line on the wing rather than the line on the front of the punch. If you're just doing a border that's going all the way across, you line it up with the mark on the front. But when you're doing a frame, you line it up with the line on the wing, okay? And we're going to punch and slide just like we do with everything. When we're making a border, we do a lot of punching and sliding. So we're just gonna move across here, and you're going to punch 5 times rather than 6 times, and then you can see the other edge of your paper has reached the line on the other side of the wing. Okay, so when you get that far, you turn your paper, start it again at that line, and you're just going to work your way around your page. Look at that, isn't that fancy? I just think that this one's so fancy. Fancy and fun. Perfect for, I don't know, photos of a night out or something cool like that. And each time that you start your line, you get a little 1-inch square that pops off after you punch. Okay, so now we're going to turn it, and this final line we're going to end up with 2 of those little white squares. Because we're going to punch, and we're going to slide, and we're going to work our way over, and the last one will free up that tab on the end. Okay, so there's our 4 little 1-inch squares, and here is our Damask Flourish frame page. Okay, now you can come in here with your trimmer and you can trim this off and make it a frame of just that design. You could come in here with your precision point scissors and go and cut like 1/8 of an inch away from the design. That would make a really beautiful chain, I think, to go around the edge. A little bit more fussy cutting than what I typically do, but for a special occasion it wouldn't be that bad. Or you can create or you can punch it on the inside as well. So let's go ahead, and I'm just trying to decide how I want to do this so that it's the least distracting. So I'm going to put my designs together the best I can. Sometimes they match exactly, which is what you want, but if they don't match exactly, just get them as close as you can. Okay, close as you can. Okay, then I'm going to come in here with my trimmer, and I'm going to trim out a little bit of these just so that it's a little easier to get that inside edge. Okay, so I'm going to place my, let's see, I'm going to trim this so the punch itself, the distance of the punch is 1.5 inches from the bottom to the top. So I probably want to go with at least 3 inches. Maybe we'll go with 3 1/4, just to give us a little bit of of a shoulder. Okay, and I'm going to come down here like this and stop. Let's see, 3 1/4 would be there, so we're going to stop 1, 2, a little bit beyond there. That's where we're going to stop. Well, we'll see how close to 3 1/4 I got when we look over here. And try to make these cuts meet. And I'm just cutting the center out so that we can go back in and cut and punch around the middle edge. Okay, so now we've got this. We're going to punch this beginning with the design centered here, and I think it'll work. Let's try it. I actually haven't tried this one before, so let me just, I'm assuming that that's going to get me to the end or to the fold. Just about. So let's bring it out and we'll punch one more. Okay, and then we'll punch another one going this way. And I'm going to stop there. I'm going to flip it. All right, and we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to line up the punch that's opposite where we want to start. Center it on the punch line there, and then that way it'll be in hopefully roughly the same place that it is on the other side. That's the idea anyway, that it'll be in the same place. And we're going to just punch this one more time. Okay, and then we're going to undo it and fold it again the opposite way. This time I'm going to match up my punched area. I'm not going to be too concerned with the outer edge. I just want to match up the punched areas. Because sometimes if your punching is not super precise, it's too hard to try to match up the rest of it, right? Okay, so now we're going to come in here and we're going to feed the paper in carefully and line up the punch over here on this side and punch, slide. We're going to punch one more time. Okay, so like that, and then we're going to flip it and we're going to do the same thing on this side. All right, let's remove that carefully. Get rid of all of these. Sometimes if you have a buildup of this underneath the punch, things can get caught a little bit more, especially when you have a punch that is as intricate as this one is. So just try to be really careful, and if you need to, go ahead and empty things so that you can. I think that's real interesting. We didn't get that little bit in this one. That's all right though. So we'll just, that's where the embellishment goes. Right? All right, so there, that makes just a really fun, really sweet looking little frame for something special, especially if you have like a wedding, or this would be perfect on a title page or something along those lines. All right. So that's the core of how you do this. So you can start with your triangle, and you can punch them all at the same time, or you can do like I did and punch all the way around the outside, and then come back and punch again around the inside. It's completely up to you. So I'm going to try it this way. We're going to cut the center out of this one, still cutting this at 3¼ inches worth of frame. Okay, so that the width here is 3¼ inches with a 12-inch outer shell. Which one should we do this time? I'm going to leave this closed. Let's see if we can get it to punch through 2 layers of this. This is essentially designer weight paper. Let's see if we can go ahead and we'll do the spider web. I love the spider web. I'm always surprised that I am super surprised that we've had the spider web for as long as we have, because this one came out quite a while ago, and it makes such a super cute border that I'm kind of shocked that we still have it. If you don't have one, you need to go get yourself one. Look at that. It's just perfect how it punches everything just right. And this definitely speeds things along when you're punching 2 sides at a time as you're going. But this would be so fun for Halloween especially, or if you were doing something in the fall, of course. But can you think of another thing you could do with the spider web punch? I would love to have your ideas. I would love for you to post your ideas in the comments of this video, because there are so many fun things that you can do with the spider web punch. Okay, so there's our outer edge. Let's do the inner edge, and we will be good to go. So we're just centering this second punch in from the edge, okay, and then sliding it out this way to do the corner, and then sliding it back to do one more punch on the inside. Okay, and we're going to flip it and do the same thing over here. I'm just eyeballing where the center is. Just do the best you can. Okay, so there's that much. Now we're going to open it up and refold. And refold. Okay. And now we're going to put that in there, line this one up. this one up. My fold got a little crazy, so let me just fix that just a little. There we go. All right. So here is our spider web frame. Now we probably could have gotten this closer. You see how we have a nice bit on the outside? The spider web is smaller than the damask flourish punch. This one is 1.5 inches high. This one is almost 1 inch high, so we could have made our frame that we were punching from smaller and brought these closer together, which would have been super fun. And it would have been a lot more delicate. The closer these get together and the smaller this main frame that goes around here is, the more delicate the actual punched piece would be. But I kind of do like the fact that we have these cute little corners using starting with a 3¼ inch wide frame, because then you get these cute little bits here, which you don't get with a more narrow piece and a more narrow frame to start with. Okay, so anyway, it may take some playing with. Use your spare time when you are just wanting to see how things work and play with them. And remember, there are several, and these are all still available in our line. So go ahead and look on my website if you are not an advisor yourself or you don't already have an advisor, and look for the punches with the line on the wing and frame in the name. Frame in the name and the line on the wing, and you will be able to make a frame easy peasy with them. And I'll come back another time and show you how to use the punches that don't have the line on the wing. Some of them work, some of them maybe not as well as others. It just depends, and it takes some practice and some experimentation to know where to start your design. Okay? Thanks so much for joining me. I hope this has been fun. I hope this has reminded you of an option and given you something to jazz up your pages in the future with your tools. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Thanks so much. Have a great day.